half of what he said about Dawkins and me was totally wrong. Half of what he said about the relevant biology was wrong. I mean, he doesn't have his shit together, but he thinks he does.
Okay, friends, that's a 13-second video on YouTube with Sam Harris telling Joe Rogan what he thinks about Hunter Maats. I think it's a really good, accurate, concise review. Why do I think that? Well, I watched this video and then got on a thread on the video on YouTube with Hunter Maats. And I'm not too happy with what I found, I have to say. I expected to find somebody who was engaging. He certainly was engaging. But he admitted to me in writing to being a troll, a liar, and a thief of other people's reputations. And that was just fine ethically, because his greater good of getting his version of science out is far more important than ethical behavior. It's pretty sad, actually. I went at this guy a number of ways, and it took a while. He's constantly pushing his own stuff, and which is fine, you know. Again, his methods are the problem. I'm sure his science isn't very good either, but I can't even get to the science because his methods demonstrate that he's not to be trusted, in his own words. So, very quickly, I just wanted to take this guy down. Basically on Twitter, I've seen him post a number of things involving Sam Harris and the New Atheists. You know, it seems like he just works in reverse. How do I work these guys into whatever I want to say? Which would be great if it was relevant and he wasn't a troll. So I asked him if I had to clarify, because I asked him pretty directly, and he agreed that it was fine to mischaracterize the views of public intellectuals. No problem at all, because hey, that's the way you get eyes. So no problem. So I asked him to respond on Twitter with a yes/no question about the ethics of dragging people's name through the mud. And I said, that's your admitted strategy, please confirm, and then we're going to move on to the topics of moral philosophy and the golden rule, because he's not following the golden rule. And he said the point is to create clickbait that lures people into the science. Okay. Clickbait. I think this guy knows what the word clickbait means. And so he dances around. He uses phrases like teach the controversy, which is obviously ripped off from creationists. I still am not sure. This guy might be a faith head. And when I asked him directly, he said he's indifferent. Talk about a bullcrap answer. So he's a dishonest actor. He, in writing, admitted twice that there's absolutely no problem at all, ethically, with lying about the public views of other people. That's just fine with him. No problem. Whatever it takes. Okay? So you may want to question where you get your information and your entertainment. Who's peddling it to you and how they're peddling it to you. You think that matters, how they're peddling it to you? I think it does. So I wrote to him, just concede that the intentional distortion of the views of others is unethical. Or will you bring up quantum mechanics? Okay, because every time you ask him a question, he throws a link at you, and you got to read your stuff, and then you go there and it's his stuff or his two people, which is fine. Again, he's entitled to his views. What he's not entitled to is intentionally distort the views of others. That makes you a troll and a liar and a thief and a scumbag. I'm sorry to say. That's our society. I mean, aren't you aware, Hunter Maats, that eventually YouTube will move to the type of laws we have in newspapers and the news generally for libel and slander? And by the way, who cares if that never happens? Why are you doing this? Why in the world, how did you figure out that dragging other people through the mud and calling them racist, calling them Nazis, calling them all their views on science wrong, and not telling us why they're wrong? Okay, again, so just concede that all of this is unethical. And he said, by your definition, Gandhi was a troll. Rosa Parks too. Nonviolent conflict is political theater. There you have it, gentlemen. Political theater. It's not about the science. It's not about the facts. It's not about the conversation. Okay? It's about turning it into political theater for Hunter Maats. And if that theater on that particular evening's performance requires endless lies about the public views of others, hey, that's what you got to do, right? You know, you have no reputation to protect anymore. Do you realize that? Call out every big name in the world. It's great. Do your thing. It doesn't require you to lie about other people, okay? And you know you're doing it because you've admitted you've done it. This is your strategy. If anybody wants to see these tweets and the thread on YouTube with the comments, I'll attach them. I just want to suggest that the reason that I was going to hold off, because I actually want to talk to him, I'm just shocked someone like him would be so willing to disregard his reputation. I mean, now I have to tell everybody, never listen to this guy, because he's an unethical actor trying to destroy reputations, making his own. Okay? You don't get anywhere doing that. Not in this world. Okay? And forget about Sam Harris. I don't care about Sam Harris. I care about the honest portrayal of other people's views from people I get information from. If you're going to tell me about anybody, Charles Murray, Sam Harris, any scientist you want at Darwinism, you talked about evolution and so on, go ahead, great. But mischaracterizing their views doesn't help anybody. You think it helps you. It doesn't. Okay? So the thing that broke the camel's back, as they say, is, and I have to read this to you because this was May 27th, today, Saturday, May 27th in the afternoon. Quote, Hunter Toto Maats at Hunter Maats writes, replying to Tower, Kyle, and others, including me, do I think Sam Harris org hates black people? Question mark. I don't know, but Sam certainly didn't respect Hannibal Buress enough to listen to him. Okay. I mean, the way I read that is you're suggesting that Sam Harris is a bigot because he tried to have an adult conversation with a drunk comic. I mean, dude, you have to be put out of business. Okay, you got to come out, apologize to the people who listen to your podcast, say I'm still going to be the guy I am and trying to get my word out, but part of my shtick will not be to be a liar and a thief. Okay, you need to do that, Hunter. Okay, I don't understand this. Maybe it's a generational thing. Everything's okay. The sky's the limit. You're telling me you don't know better? I don't believe you. I mean, I want to talk to you maybe. It's possible you don't know any better, but it just seems, again, based on admitting it more than once, that you're out to destroy people to get to in furtherance of your own career. I mean, you got on Joe Rogan. You know Joe Rogan. You get Sam Harris to mention you. He takes you down. You know, you should be thankful for that and posting serious criticism of the views of Sam Harris, the New Atheist, Joe Rogan, his guests, and so on. Not playing this troll lying game to everybody out here. Okay? Stop doing it. Or throw up a video explaining why you are doing it. Sam's Bulldog. Thanks.